For Illustrator, I'm in 2021. This is pretty much the Creative Cloud interface, so this is probably what you're going to see in the newest version. A lot of times on the home page they have tutorials, etc. What I'm going to do is move over to, you can have your recent documents. Often I use the letter format. Let me just go over to print and kind of show you the options that you can get there. Again, letter, which is kind of your standard print size, is often what you want to use. But as you can see, it's in points, and I like to work in inches. So I'm just going to do right here, skill builder. Now everything I'm doing right now I'll be doing on my Wacom tablet as well, so I am using a stylus. Okay. The other thing is, if I'm going to do a print format, I need to do Cmyk color because that is print color. Also keep it at high resolution 300. Again, this is just kind of a sample document. Your specs are going to change based on what it is you're trying to create, but let's just pretend for the sake of this demo that we're going to be printing this. Okay. Again, Illustrator has a ton of options. It can be for the web. You can make things that are banner size. You can make stickers with transparent backgrounds, all sorts of stuff. So the exports are pretty robust for Illustrator. You can do a lot more than print. Okay, so this is gonna take a second to load. Apologies for that. Again, you can also see here, this is where the cloud storage is, or what I've been working on as of recent. The iPad is syncing with my Mac, so you can see I can work on iPad projects or phone projects along with my Mac, and then it will sync to the cloud. Okay, here we are, document. Fantastic. So again, I updated today, so my interface is a little bit different. And I'm going to get some pop-ups. So yeah, this is kind of the standard workspace. Here you have what I use the most or like to have out are my layers. Here we have the toolbar, okay, and I usually let that float free. And then when I pick a tool, commands will come up here. That's the command bar. If you want a different kind of workspace, you can always go to Window and you can choose from there. I might not fiddle with it too much again because I updated and my computer's a little slow. But you can go to Workspace, Essentials, Essentials Classic, Painting. That actually is one I use a lot. Tracing, so you can, let me just switch to Painting and show you what that looks like. So it's going to set up the workspace just a little bit differently. Yeah, there you go. So here you get kind of an interesting brush selection here. You get a swatch selection. Again, this is more what I'm used to, kind of what I like better. And then the panel for the layers, gradients, so on and so forth are all here. Or I'm sorry, the layers are down here. I like that. So that way you can choose your brushes if you're changing up brushes. And this, then you get the commands at the top with fill, stroke, stroke size, what kind of line you want, how big it is, so on and so forth. So this is kind of my traditional interface. I'll probably stick with that. I use the same one in Photoshop too. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a few different layers. I'm going to build with a few different shapes, and then I'm going to show you how, some different tricks that you can do with these different shape tools. So just going into the basics, if I go to the shapes, you can see the white arrow here. There's shapes tucked underneath. I'm going to go ahead and pull out a rectangle, so that's kind of a pull and drag. And then you can see default is a white fill black line, okay? You can see that it's down over here too, but I usually use the command bar. I'm going to change the fill so you get a better idea of what's inside of this shape. If I want a larger outline, I can give a stroke weight that something larger. So I'm just clicking up to make that happen. When I'm done with this shape, you always go back to the selection tool, V, and that's the shortcut on your keyboard if you want to, and then click out of it so that the commands aren't going anymore. You can see down here, I have that, I can just pull it out so you see it better. I have that pink shape on layer 1. So I'm going to go ahead and press pink shape. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is create another layer, and then I'm going to pull out 2 shapes and I'm going to give them a command. Okay, like it's called, sorry, it's escaping me right now, but the shape finder. So I'm going to show you how to work with the shape finder tool and create compound shapes and compound objects. So right there, new layer. I can call this compound shapes. I cannot stress enough how important it is to organize your layers in Illustrator, because if you don't, Photoshop kind of makes layers for you, but Illustrator does not. So you really have to take control of that yourself. Okay, because otherwise you'll have a ton of things on one layer and you won't really be sure how you got there. So I'm going to go back to the shape menu. Now I'm going to pull out the star tool, and I'm going to kind of just click and drag. I get a big star back to my black arrow. Now you can see the top layer automatically puts my new object in front. I'm also going to change the color so you get a better idea of what I'm doing. And then maybe I'll just grab one more star tool here. Okay, and maybe make that another color so again you can see what I'm doing. Darker color there. Okay, so now I have compound shapes on that second layer. That's what I'm going to create. Okay, so what I have to do is go to the, Pathfinder, not Shapefinder, Pathfinder. So we need to go down and scroll to this Pathfinder tool, which is right here. And there you go. So you have Pathfinders, which is the outside line and how you're going to join those together. And then shape modes. I was combining the lingo, sorry. So shape modes are here, and that will combine the shapes. Okay, so to do this, you need to select both objects. So I'm going to click my first star, shift and click the second star. And then you can start playing around and see what each one does. So here, it kind of looks straightforward. It looks like I'm going to combine those shapes. Now what you also notice too is that the shape in front, that was the darker blue, that will command the other shape that is behind. So when I click that to combine those shapes, it becomes darker blue. It doesn't stay lighter blue. Now I'm going to press Command Z, that is undo. And I'm going to move to the next one and see what that does. Okay, so that one is a cutout, like it cuts the front shape out of the back shape. Okay, Command Z. This one is a separation of the intersection, there, okay. And then this one is a cutout in the middle, which can sometimes come in handy, because if you did something like that, now this shape works together, but you could also pull out different things in the middle. Sorry, click to the side, and you can get a point, and you can manipulate from the inside. This also works really nicely when you're using, when you're trying to make cutouts in letters and things like that. That really helps. Okay. And then I can pull over here. Okay. It's kind of nice. So if you have something that has like a donut hole or eyes that you're cutting out of a more complex character, something like that, the minus, that's minus front, I believe, that will help cut that out. Okay, so for the Pathfinder tool, it does very similar commands, but it uses the lines on the outside to guide that rather than these shapes. So if you're in here playing around, I recommend trying that as well. Just for the sake of time, I won't be doing that here. Okay, so that's just a little taste of opening up a document in Illustrator, looking at the interface, playing with shapes, and then what the Pathfinder or the shape tool can do for you.